He's green, but he's definitely not lean. Today, we're drawing Slimer from my favorite movie, Ghostbusters. So what you're going to need is paper, a pencil, your black inking marker, and then for colors, of course, green, some red for the tongue, and today we're going to be using highlighter again for an eerie ghost effect. Man, I'm really excited about this, and I hope you're excited too. You guys ready? Let's go. Alright guys, here we go. Today we're going to be drawing Slimer. The green guy is going to be the focal point of our picture, so he's going to be in the middle of our picture, and he's going to be we're going to put him over to the side a little bit. That way if we want to add some things around him, we can do that. I always talk about putting a horizon line in our picture. That's the line that goes from one side of the paper to the other. And this lets us know where our sky is, where our ground is. Next to that, or under that I should say, I'm going to start with his body. Now the top part of his body is going to be a circle, and it's going to be a nice sized circle. Matter of fact, it'll start under the horizon line but peak above it. Okay? And we start with very sketchy lines as always, making sure that we know that this isn't our final line yet. So I can softly go around it and make it the circle I want by shaping it out. Just like if you were using clay or something else where you build up your shape, you're going to build it up with a nice line. Now I'm going to make another circle and overlap, which means about a little bit through this second circle, which is going to be a little bit bigger. So it's going to go out a little bit more on both sides. It's going to overlap. This second circle is going to create Slimer's body. Now, Pete and the rest of the team usually call Slimer Spud because he has kind of a potato shape. He's a bigger oval, so that's why I'm kind of making him this big round shape. Alright, next we're going to connect his head and his body and create some cheeks for him. So, about halfway through, if I think about halfway through my first circle, halfway through, I am going to start making a line, a curved line that goes down from the top of that circle and it touches the bottom circle. I'm going to do it on both sides. Like I said, these are going to create cheeks for Slimer. Okay? Now that I have these cheeks, I am going to kind of start making my mouth. So I think about this bottom of this circle, using it as a line to make my mouth. I can make a smile line at the top, kind of at this line going across here. Ooh. I can create a smile line at the top of it, and then I'm going to bring a mouth down off the bottom of it. Nice big mouth. Bigger the better. If yours is bigger than mine, that's A-OK. Slimer likes to eat. Slimer is very gluttonous, which means he never stops eating, even though the food goes through him. So we want to make sure we have a nice big mouth area for him to eat out of. The next thing we're going to do, we'll create Slimer's eyes. See that line going across right there? On that, we're going to make two kind of ovals. We're going to put them a pretty much sort of close to the middle of my face. There should be a good amount of room on the outside of both. And then, if we think about the size of one eye, there should be about one eye space between the two eyes. In the middle, okay? Now, we're going to give Slimer a nose under that. And we're going to give it just a nice side oval to start for now. Okay? So, we've got some of our basic outline. Slimer's coming together pretty good. Now I'm going to start with his arms. Up under his cheeks, I'm going to make 2 circles on each side. These are going to start his upper arm. Slimer is a free-roaming vapor, but he has a full upper torso. So the bottom of him, he doesn't have legs, but he has a full upper torso. So we're going to start with making his shoulders. Then we're going to pull down on each side 2 lines. 1, 2. Same on this side. 1, 2. So we're going to use a little foreshortening. This is going to be his upper arm. You have shoulder and upper arm. But then I'm going to have you guys put a circle over to the side here. This is going to be his hand. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Even though it's kind of going off the paper. Matter of fact, on this side, I'm going to put it over my line. The same effect will be given. Okay? Now over here where it didn't go over, I'm going to make kind of a L shape to take my hand to it. Okay? And then I'm going to start with some fingers. Slimer has 5 fingers. He has a thumb. So I'm going to make a thumb by making a circle. And then for his fingers, I'm going to use ovals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Same here. Thumb is going to be closer on the inside of the body. Thumbs are close to the inside of the body. Then my fingers. And these fingers I'm going to put kind of, they go halfway through maybe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to sort of keep your fingers on one side of the circle and put your thumb on the other side. Your fingers stay together on one side, like this, and then your thumb's on the other side. Okay. The effect we're going to go for is like he's reaching out towards us like this. So that's why we're seeing the top of his finger, the top of his thumb and the top of his fingers. Okay. Once we do that, we're going to add just a little bit more to Slimer's body here. I'm going to pull down off of both sides until I create kind of like a teardrop bottom. Well, it's almost like a reverse teardrop. I'm going to bring it down to a point. Okay? Now, this is going to show a little bit of movement from Slimer. Maybe he's kind of flowing upward in this direction. You can be, if you want, more rounded at the bottom with it if you want. You can make him a little chubbier. That's up to you. Okay? So now we have sort of this basic outline. I'm going to go in and add some details. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on his eyes. I'm going to give Slimer a big, heavy brow. And I'm going to do that by coming down at an angle off of both sides of his eyes. And I'm going to kind of cap it at the top. Give him a really heavy brow. And I'm going to add a pupil to his inner eye. Now, I'm going to give him some teeth. I'm going to give him some nice, big, rounded teeth. So I don't even try to make them square or triangles. I don't try to make them square or kind of like hard shapes. I'm going to keep them very rounded. I'm going to make sure they're big. Fill up his mouth. Okay? Now because Slimer is just that slime, I'm going to put some very slimy and loose lines across his body. Okay? And now, because we have a lot of shapes that we use to build this up, we're going to keep our shapes that we like. Oop, I'm going to put a little hand line on each of those hands. We're going to keep the shapes we like, and we're going to erase the shapes that we don't want. Okay? Some of the shapes that we don't want. Remember when we started and made this a circle? We still have that line here. From that first circle above his mouth, we're going to get rid of that. And the ones around here, we're going to get rid of those to make his face more one shape. We're going to get rid of some of these guy lines. The top of where that circle met the smile, so that he feels, like I said, more like one shape. We're going to get rid of some of the lines that connect his arms, so that space in between there. Basically making them one fluid shape. Kind of think of these lines that I don't want being like blocks or things that put the shapes apart. We're kind of erasing until all those shapes flow into each other. One thing I want to flow a little bit more into it is his nose. So I'm going to erase part of the top of it so that it's all part of one face. Now, so that we can get a better look at what Slimer's coming together like, I'm going to start my inking process. I talk to you guys about inking all the time, but what we do is we use a pen, and we are going to trace over our lines to make them darker. And these is going to make our concrete lines. I call them concrete lines because concrete lines are lines that we want to stay, that we don't want to lose. We're going to put those in with our pen. So, start with the eyes here. Definitely don't want to lose those. Now I always talk about when I use my black line and I'm outlining, I can add more character. So you might notice I put a little bit more of a bellow to his nose, made it look a little bit more human, add a little bit more character to it. Here, as I do the top of his head, I'm going to make it a little bit more wavy, give him a little tiny little bit of a bump up there. He is slimy, he is a moving blob, so guess what? If this picture, if I make him a little bit wavy, it's only going to add to that effect, the illusion. Hey, he is a ghosty, gooey guy. So, thinking about that as I draw, having a lot of fun making sure that he's really round and curved and really slimy looking. So I'm going to make sure even down here I'm going to go ahead and make him a little bit more jiggly. Pretty cool, right? We're going to do another arm right here. Tracing it. Changing it up a little bit. I'll give him a little tiny, see a little curve. Just give him a little bit of a muscle. It's been working out in the containment unit. And then we've got our thumb. And I'm going to walk my thumb over with a line over to my finger. Add another line between that. My other finger. Add another line between that. Another finger. They don't all have to be the same size, remember? Just kind of close and similar in size. Oop. Cool, cool. Let's get that mouth. Bam. The upper part of the smile. Then that lower part of the smile. Awesome. Now here we go with those teeth. Now I'm going to take my time. I'm going to put some more in there. Make sure they go all the way through. I'm keeping them pretty rounded still. And taking my time so that they look very uniform. And then you make it all the way to the end of his mouth. Should look like he has too many teeth in his mouth. You got too many teeth, Slimeball. And I mean that in a nice way. Me and Slimer go way back. I love this guy. Alright. I'm going to put some teeth on the bottom of his mouth going across. It doesn't have to be a certain number. It doesn't even have to be symmetrical, guys. And I am going to kind of give a hint of his tongue back behind his teeth. And then I'm going to give some wavy wobbly slime lines going across the front of his body. Here you go. Whoa, that's a pretty cool ghosty friend right here. So, now that I've got those lines in, I'm going to put a little tiny white circle at the same spot on both eyes, and I'm going to color the rest of it in black while I'm here with my black marker. Boom. And I've got his tongue, but the very, very back of his mouth, I'm going to take some time while I have my black marker and color that in as well. Going from side to side, taking my time, going really slowly between those teeth because I do want to be able to see them pretty well. Now, I have Slimer's tongue in his mouth. Could you stick Slimer's tongue out of his mouth? Yes. Could you have food sticking out of Slimer's mouth? Yes. Could you have Slimer yelling or his mouth a little bit closed or bigger? Yes. Guys, you are the artist. You can add whatever you would like. I'm going to put a couple more lines on his head there. A few little lines under his eyes. Looks like he's been staying up late at night trying to run from us Ghostbusters. He's a really fun character to make. So, I'm going to go back to my eraser. Because now that I have my concrete lines, the lines that I want to stay, I can erase again and get rid of all those extra little lines that might have been in the hands I don't want. All the extra little lines that might be on the body I don't want. And that's why I always write those first lines very, very sketchy and lightly so that they're easy to erase. Awesome. I'm loving my Slimer so far. So, how are we going to color Slimer? Well, Slimer is a big green machine, so we are going to give a nice light slimy green color to him. I'm going to put a little bit more pressure, seeing how I'm using a color pencil. I'm going to put a little bit more pressure around the outline of areas. So I'm going to kind of like trace it again, a little bit more pressure. So I want it to have like a really strong outline of green. And what will help me get that pressure is right now I have a stack of paper underneath. So the paper is going to be kind of padding my pressurization. So it wasn't allowing the pressure to really show up because I'm pushing through a bunch of paper. So I took that off there so it can come in a little bit easier. And start with a little bit of a darker outline. And you guys can color however you want. It's just how I'm going to approach this today. It's a different way to color it. I'm going to start with a little bit of a darker outline. And then I'm going to go ahead and start filling it in. Following my outline. This is a fun thing you can do with any type of coloring. So I could have outlined it first in crayon and then colored it in. I could have outlined it with a marker first and then colored it in. It's just a fun way to kind of go about it. Make sure I don't hit his eyes. Get all the way around. Nice green guy going here. And he has a nice bright slimy green. But if you guys notice here in the corner here, I've got a highlighter. We used a highlighter a few videos back, if you guys didn't join us, for creating a lightning effect around Pikachu. I thought it might be fun today to use our highlighter to help give a slimy glow around our friend Slimer. So I'm going to take this highlighter. He's been getting outlined so many times. First we went over him with pencil, then we went over him with marker. Now we're going to go over, and then we colored it in with another highlight. Now we're going to go over him again. Man, sometimes our process takes a little bit of time. Sometimes we go over the same things more than once. That's okay. That's part of the process. So to make things that are awesome, sometimes you have to put in a little bit of work. You go over the same spot more than once. You rethink it and add to it. That's all great. That's part of being an artist. So cool. I just gave Slimer a little bit of a cool glow. I add a little bit of glow on those lines I put on the inside too. Fun. And because he has that nice big tongue right there, I'm going to grab a red real quick. Close to me I have a red marker. That will work just fine. Making sure not to get any on his tooth. We don't want to make it look like he was eating a popsicle. Even though I'm sure he would. Boom. Cool. I'm really liking this one, guys. Are you? I like it a lot. So we have our friend. We have Slimer. Now, we've got all this room behind him. Where's Slimer going to be? What's Slimer going to be doing? You know, we've talked about making roads and stuff by going back to our horizon line, finding a spot over to the corner, kind of pulling away from it. Sometimes we can pull straight across, or we can pull at angles. We're going to put kind of a road behind him. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I am going to draw on my road. I'm going to make a not a square, more like a rectangle. Then I'm going to make another rectangle on top of it. And I'm going to draw the top of those going all the way back to that dot. Give it some wheels and a license plate and some lights. And I'm going to give it, make this part the window, and give it some sirens. And in the back, we're going to have a car. It'll be the Ghostbuster car. It's going to be coming to get you. They're coming for you, Slimer. So, it's in the background. I can't see too many details, but I did do enough to know that it's a car. I'll put our red fins on there for you, Ecto. Luckily, I always keep an Ecto close to me. There's some other cool designs. Oh, I see some blue in the lights. Maybe I'll put a little bit of blue on top so you can see those lights. Boom, 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 boom. And that yellow for a little bit of a license plate. Uh-oh. Looks like they're coming for you, Simon. So we've got a little bit of something going on. I don't know if they talk about if you want to make some buildings in the background. You can make some different size rectangles. They're very, very far away. So they can be different sizes. Yeah. Slimer's trying to get out the city. He is on the run. Cool, guys. So you guys can add whatever you want to your story. You could add a car, maybe some Ghostbusters on foot. Maybe Slimer is getting some food somewhere. So you can add a bunch of different food around him. Whatever way you want to tell your story. But that's up to you, and I hope you do have a really, really fun time telling your story. For me, I am going to end with this, making Slimer my focal point, and I am going to write my signature. When you guys work so hard, always remember to sign your work. You should be proud of the work you did, and I am proud of you. Alright guys, all done for today. I really had a great time drawing with you, and I look forward to seeing the stories that you tell in your picture. So make sure you send them to me so I can give them a comment. I hope you have a great day, and I can't wait to draw with you again tomorrow. Talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.